Today I'm going to show you how to create a animated GIF. We're just going to use text to make it easy. You can create animated GIFs utilizing, drawings or images, whatever it is that you want, or videos. The one thing you got to keep in mind is there is no sound associated with animated GIFs. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get an artboard ready. So first thing, I'm going to go up here to File and New. I would like you to select Web because we do want to format it for the web. We're going to make this animated GIF a little bit smaller though. I don't need it to be 1366. We're going to make it 1000. We are going to keep it at 8-bit is fine. I don't want an artboard, so I'm going to uncheck that. I do want a transparent background, so I'm going to where it says background content. I'm going to go and hit the down arrow and select transparent. If you don't see transparent, just keep scrolling, you will eventually see it. We're going to call this, we'll just call this WSU, and because we're going to make a WSU GIF. And I'm going to simply say create. So this is going to be the document that I am going to actually create my animated GIF in. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I am in the motion workspace. So I'm going to go up here to Window and Workspace, and I'm going to go down here to Motion. In the timeline that should pop up, and if this timeline does not pop up for some reason, go up to Window and make sure Timeline is checkmarked. You will have two options. You have Create a Video Timeline. That is a button, okay? If you hit the down arrow here, we have an option of changing this to Create Frame Animation. And that's what we're going to do to create our little animated GIF. Next thing I want to do is I want to get some type on the board saying WSU. So I'm going to go over here and grab my type tool. I have already created the color for the color swatches for WSU for Wright State. I have the green and the gold, which will be, you can look it up online. It probably will be in the Dropbox as well. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select my font. Maybe I want a bigger size. I'm going to use Impact. You can use whatever font you would like. I'm going to make this 500. I'm going to, click, and 500. And I am going to type WSU. And let's make sure that this is on center up here. And everything's pretty much how I want it. Now I have my smart guides on, so I am just going to drag this until it is centered, and I should be able to tell if it's centered. If you get frustrated and you're like, I don't want to do that, don't forget we can always go up here and we can hit our little 3 dots. We can align it to the canvas, and we can center vertically and center horizontally, and that will quickly align our text. So the next thing I want to do is I want to duplicate this, and we're going to mess with the W. So let's type W because that's going to be this layer. What are we going to do to the W? Well, we are limited when we don't rasterize our image. So we are going to highlight this, and we do have options. Don't do a horizontal scaling, but we can do a vertical scaling. Maybe we want to make this a little squattier. I'm going to maybe go down to 50%. And then maybe I want to baseline shift this as well. Maybe I want to take that down below the baseline to, I don't know, let's go -80. And I also want to change the color. So I'm going to go over here, open up my swatches, and color it that Wright State green. Check mark. Okay, so it's going to go from up here to down here. Next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and duplicate that again. So I'm going to drag that down here. And this time we are going to mess with the S, okay? But we're also going to fix the W. We're going to take that back up. So on this one, we're going to first start off with the W, and we're going to go ahead and open up our character panel. And we're going to move that back to 0. We're going to move our scaling back to 100. And then we're going to move over to the S. And we are going to up to our squatches, and then we are going to move our S downward as well. Let's do the exact same thing. So we're going to go here, 50, and minus, actually let's go up. We'll go up 80 this time instead of down. And we are going to check mark that. Duplicate it. This time we're going to deal with the U. After we get our layers created over here, the next thing I want to do is I want to go down to where it says create video timeline. If you have not already changed it to create frame animation, hit the arrow. Okay, this right here is a button, so we do need to make sure we are on create frame animation. Once we do that, we can click on create frame animation. If for some reason you did it and you accidentally got into the video timeline, something like this, you can simply go over here to the left and click on it, and it will take you to the frame by frame animation. I'm going to go over here, pay attention to the hamburger menu, and I'm going to say make frame from layers. So what will happen is it will make one frame for each one of the layers that I had. I have 5 layers over here. It's going to make 5 frames over here. Notice that it does automatically hide each and every frame. So this is a quick, easy way to make a frame by frame animation. Now when I play this, it's going to be super, super fast because by default, this is going to be on 0 seconds down here. We do want to change. I'm going to hold my shift key down and I'm going to highlight all of these, and I'm going to change all of them at one time to maybe 0.2. And then I'm going to go down to my timeline and hit play. And it's going to look something like this. Now, every time it ends and then it starts back over. I want it to have more of a flow where like it gets to the end and then it reverses and then it goes forward and backward and forward and backward. So to get that effect, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these 5 frames in my timeline. I'm simply going to go down here to the plus sign. Now with the plus sign, if you hover over it, it's going to say duplicate selected frames. If I don't have anything selected, okay, or if I only have one selected, it will only duplicate that frame. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind. So I do want all of these selected, and I'm going to hit the plus sign. Now it's going to put them, duplicate all 5 to the right of that. But again, that's not going to be correct. It's just going to play it over and over again. So what I want to do is I want to go over to my hamburger menu and I want to say reverse frames. So whatever it started here, it's going to reverse all of those so that it whatever was starting at the beginning now starts at the end, etc. Okay, so now if I start on frame 1 and I hit play, you can see it goes forward and then it goes backwards. And then it goes forward and then it goes backwards. If you don't like the little pause, I could, because honestly, this 5 and 6 are going to be exactly the same. I could trash one of those if you want it to have a little bit more flow. And again, that's going to be up to you. Having that little pause sometimes is nice. So that again, and then I also would want to, if I did that, I'm going to want to get rid of the one at the end as well. Trash that. And that's how easy it is to make a animated GIF with text. Once I get that done, I do need to turn this into an animated GIF. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here and make sure this is on forever down on the timeline. If you don't like how fast it is, you can change your speed. I have mine on 0.2 seconds. If you want to change it to 0.1, if you want to change it to 0.3, that's going to be up to you. And we're going to go up here to File, and we're going to export this. And we're going to say Export Save for Web. By default, yours is probably on JPEG underneath the preset. We are going to make this GIF. Once I make it GIF, you should see the width and the height. You could change this if you wanted to make it smaller. Maybe you wanted it a little bit smaller for a web page you're putting it on, or for a presentation you're putting it in. It does say looping forever. I could preview this just to make sure it is giving me what I want. And then when I'm done, I simply hit save. And I am going to make sure I know where I'm saving it. To preview it, I am simply going to right-click on it and say open with, and I'm going to open this with maybe Google Chrome or something to that effect. And it should preview it in Google Chrome. And that's all there is to it.